Right, that's enough oinking. That's a terrible joke. Good morning, folks. Today, well, we're building again. Once again for animals, not humans. But we're going high-tech livestock housing. The best U-value pig ark you'll ever find. So those of you who have been following the channel for a while will know that last year I built a huge workshop, or a sensible sized workshop, at the last house, and I used insulated composite panels like these. Now, of course, being the hoarder that I am, all the offcuts got stored under the decking at the last house, and of course came up with us. And you can see there's a bunch over there. They're kind of 800mm, a little bit higher. These are basically the ends of the long cuts, and there's a couple of long ones here as well. Now, rather than me start buying a pig ark or building it out of timber, this could be a good solution. So for the pigs that are arriving soon, they're only going to be porkers, so they'll only be yay high. Once these are on skids, that's plenty high enough. It's probably about 900mm high. What I'm thinking is a three-sided structure, which will make it 2 meters by 2 meters, which is plenty for what we need for the numbers that we're talking about. Now, from a pig keeping point of view, that's too big for pigs, and if it's too big, they'll start creating an ensuite in the corner and pooing in their bed area. So we can shorten this if we need to, or split it up just with a hurdle or a board, so that it's sensible for the numbers that we've got. So for now, I'm going to measure out a couple of pressure treated skis or skids, which we'll be able to pull it around on the tractor with. Now, our soil here is nice and sandy and really freely draining, so we'll just bed up straight onto the grass with straw, and that'll be absolutely fine. But if needed, this will also give a bearing point that we could run a couple of timbers across and put some boards down. The one downside of these composite panels is you need to finish the corner somehow, unless you buy metal trims. I've had a little play around. I think this could work. Of course, this will end up considerably over-engineered. It makes sense to use these. Remember, this is not just for the structure. There's something to be said for the fact that it's going to be nice and cool in the summer and a little bit warmer in the winter. We are definitely design as we go here. I'm just propping up all sorts of bits. I'm trying to use 99% of stuff we already have. So what we've got is treated joists that were left over from the shed build at the old house. And then to make sure we've got something to fix through the sheets into, I'm going to sit this timber on here, flush with the inside. That means that about half of the panel is bearing on the skids. The rest is overhanging, which means the drips will be far away. We've got some of these chunky bits that we bought at the auction. They're going to sit on each corner, and then everything will finish to those. Roof can then be built onto there, and it gives a bit of structure, because of course you can't really fix into anything here. Come on, Pooch. Right, and then to strengthen this corner, I'll stop that there, just like you're doing a wall plate on a stud wall. Then this one I'll carry on over, fix down to there. We'll probably have to reinforce that corner a little bit more, but I think once everything is fixed into the corner post, it should all be good. We need to cut this so it's 90 over the end of our bottom board. I think we're ready for construction. Well, stage one at least. I'm just going to screw this because I want it to clamp tight. We've got a really uneven floor here. It would be sensible to just nail it all off, but because we're not working on a nice flat slab, it's not going to pull it tight. Obviously nails will be much stronger when we're towing and all the joins as well, so we can put a few in afterwards. But let's get this one fixed down. Everything else will be butt up and kind of see how the corner works now. We're definitely scrounging now. I think this is a bit of the old flat roof choice that I built the garage conversion from. Oh, 1822 is what we need. That is somewhat beautiful. Measure once, no crumpets. Yes, Bosh, I would love a big saw with far more volts and power than that. Maggie, please don't eat that beam. Right, in the spirit of design as we go, slightly change of plan. Same idea on the corners, but on the front, which is where the door will be, decided to create a nice big trip hazard, but a different board goes over the top, and that'll be bolted through and bolted through. Doesn't really matter, it's never going to be on even ground. You can always put something down near the door, but remember the inside bedding will be built up anyway. So this is slightly off the ground, but the reason for that is, one, we can get a chain through there, so we can tow it with the tractor easier, hoop it round or bolt it. But also, when my corner post goes in here, I've finished it flush on the front, which means that the whole front will be timber boarding rather than any of the paneling. What that'll mean is I can, if we want a 600 wide door, I can just leave 3 of the 8-inch boards off, or I can move the boards around so we could divide it up and have 2 spaces, or we can have the door slightly offset to one side. Makes it a little bit more flexible. So the idea is that any cladding on the front will be fixed to that board, slightly off the ground, and the drip edge will be away. I might take it round in components, put it together on the level concrete. Go and hunt down some roofing sheets to finish the actual pig house that's going to go out on the fields. We need to come up with a pig pen. Right, we're now at the end of the cow shed in another cow shed. This roof's got to go back on shortly because it fell down a few years ago. What I'm going to do now is use this old walkway here, which splits the 2 sides, and we're going to make that our pig house. Here we've got a gate, which is obviously helpful and pretty damn pig proof for once. So this will be pig house for now whilst they're little. This is about 1200 wide and as long as we need. I can't really screw them straight into the concrete, so I need to either put a timber on top of each, the high side and the low side, and fix into that, or what I think I'm probably going to do is fix timber to the side. It's just a bit easier, and then we can screw down into that. So as you can see, we've got a pre-formed pitch here and a gutter, I guess, and a kids play kitchen. We knocked off that all the way along. Let's come in. Right, next thing to do is to get a bit of order. This is our shortest length, which is fine. It's probably the right length for what we need. So I'm going to cut the other two pieces to exactly the same length as this. Of course, this is green. It was just a packing piece when we ordered the sheets, but it's okay. We can make it work. It'll just be multicolored. A good busy start to the week. Just had our delivery. Bit of feather edge because I want to, on top of this wall up here, which is basically a cliff for children, there used to be a fence up there, so I'm just going to put a little 4-foot fence just along the top. Same up by the gate at the top, and a bit more hard work there to fill the last of the potholes. You can see these are the two patches. Sorry, it's windy. These are the two patches I did already, and they're holding up alright. That truck's just been over them. This ballast mix that's coming through is probably 30-40 mil down to sand, which really is too thick, or sorry, too big an aggregate for such a thin slab, almost a screed that we're putting in. So ideally we want to find one that's made up of chippings, a bit smaller, but it screed it out okay, floated out all right, so I think we're okay. But next time round I'll ask for something a bit different. Before I start putting these sheets on, I thought I'd give you a little tip. Not a tip, but an insight. These are the leftover sheets from the shed. They've been stored outside, that's why they're a bit water stained. This felt lining is well worth it. Some people call it anti-condensation lining, sometimes it's non-drip or anti-drip, but what it does is any moisture in the air that would normally condense on the underside of the steel and then drop and fall on tools or animals in this case, it just holds onto it and then dries out during the day, and it means you don't have those drips, because sometimes it feels, when you go into a steel building, it almost feels like it's raining or you can see water on the floor. That's what it's for. But this is the top tip. You can see here this felt lining goes all the way to the edge. You really need that felt to stop further back, which is what happens on that sheet. On here I need to singe it off with a blowtorch just so that the water that runs down when it's raining doesn't wick back up inside. I didn't do that on that middle shed build at the last house, and it was tracking up underneath, so you know, you've got to take the gutter off and singe it off, but we learnt our lesson. I won't do it here. Right, that's enough oinking. That's a terrible joke. We're going to need to cut some flashing in here as well. Oh, we should probably do that now. Fortunately, the way this is cut, because it was cut on top of a ridge, it's already going up, so it just needs something small just to lip over there. I could use flash band or something, be really bodge about it, or even if it's fixed down really well, I might go full on cowboy, just put some silicone lead sealant stuff, the grey stuff in there. I do that. These are the stitching screws, aren't they? These are just for the ridges. As these are stitching screws, I'm going completely overkill and going every single trough. I think I'd be worried if that ever lifted off. This is the other side. Plenty of space for when little piggies get big and have more little piggies. for pigs, I think. Not to disrespect a pig. Swept out. So now I'm going to put, I was going to put this old feather edge on. Not going to last, is it? Even with wieners. So, here's some of those old boards, I think. 3 boards with a bit of a gap in between for a bit of ventilation. Got ventilation top, bottom. Should be plenty of airflow. This farm is going to be built on these salvage boards, using them for everything. But I'll plumb these up, I think. May as well start with something square. We are pig ready. Almost. Gonna get a bale of straw. Got half an hour. Get that sorted, sweep everything out, sweep the whole lot over there, get some troughs in here. Then I've got someone coming to look at a fencing job. Yeah, I might have overdone it on the straw. I've banked up half a bale in here, but it looks pretty cosy to me. And remember, this is really 2 weeks max, and then we'll train them up on the electric fence and they'll be out in the field, in the trees and all over the place. Well, not all over the place, hopefully in some sort of controlled manner. One thing I need to do before we call it pig proof, sort this gate, because that is not piglet proof, it's pig proof. I think I'll either weld another bar in between these two and these two, or maybe just put a bit of stock fence along there. This is the fence. Hello?